Hi, this is the Ivy League astrologer with the May 2015 reading for Vedic Leos. I made a video about Western versus Vedic astrology and which signs to watch for, or how to watch for your signs, which should be on my channel here, that I'm posting at the same time as these May readings, so should be readily available. So just trying to address some of the more frequent questions there. But let's get into the reading for Leo for May 2015. I'm getting a sense almost of like a holy mission. I feel like you're leaving behind something that used to be sort of like your structure, and this could be in home life, it could be in work life, but you're kind of forging ahead on a new path that is not guaranteed for success and which may look, you know, sort of sketchy from the outside, but which you feel drawn to do. And I feel like it's something that you may be sort of patching together as well. You know, like it may draw on a passion of yours and some skills of yours, but it may be that you're kind of creating it as you go along. And sort of making it into a new concoction as you go. Sorry, I get short of breath for some reason when I do a lot of readings, so sorry about that. I don't know if it's the candles or what, but bear with me, please. But yeah, the message is that you can kind of let your guard down about this new path, because I do think that you're being drawn along it for a reason. It feels like something that you're kind of called to do, and if you don't feel like a distinct call, it feels like something where you kind of just got plopped into the right time at the right place, you know. And you may feel slightly unprepared or worried that you should be more worried than you are, because I feel like you're actually pretty like, okay, I'm doing this, you know. But the message is to let down your guard, because this is happening for a reason. Yeah, I feel like you may have some moments this month where you doubt your intuition, maybe if money is not flowing in quite as quickly as you had hoped, or if you have other needs that are surfacing all of a sudden that kind of change the plan you had laid out. But the advice is to kind of hold on to your idea, because the heart of the idea is in line with what you're supposed to be doing. I think right now there may be some obstacles for some reason, but not to sort of rush away from what you've begun. Yeah. Kind of keep the love light on is the phrase that's coming to mind. But yeah, I think you risk being afloat and being disappointed in a way that's very uncomfortable for you if you don't start on this new path. Again, it feels like you're sort of at the beginning of the month, maybe like, okay, I'm doing this. And then there may be some like sort of rockiness that comes up that makes you think like, wait, am I crazy? Is this not at all what I should be doing? But it seems like, no, you are meant to kind of start on this new path, and it is going to be lucrative for you. It is going to be something that is sustainable. But it may need to move a bit more slowly than either what you had in mind or the way that you've started it already. So yeah, so it may be that there is a slowdown that's being put on it so that it can develop at the correct rate. And again, I get the sense that this is an intuitive pull, that you're being intuitively pulled to do this, and also that this is something that you are creating in some way, that you're creating it like as you do it, you know. So that could be a relationship, it could be a job, you know, it could be a family even. But it feels like it resides within you and requires your all. Interesting. Sorry, I'm just taking this card in. Feels like there may be like one old issue, like an old hot button issue that comes up kind of almost out of nowhere. And that causes you a lot of pain. And I think it's from someone who's not seeing the big picture. I feel like it comes from the outside and it's from somebody else. I mean, it could be you, but it feels like it's from somebody else who's kind of pushing you or needling you or pushing on these old wounds because they're kind of on the wrong path and can't quite see the pattern. You know, they can't quite see their own patterns and they can't quite see where they're supposed to be or the lessons that they're supposed to be learning. So they're just kind of going back through the same paths over and over again. And I feel like that may just kind of push your buttons this month in a way that is painful and just kind of just rains on your parade a little bit. But I feel like you have the option here to sort of cut off communication. Where like you can just, I feel like this is not somebody who is, and it may be for other people, it may be for different people, where this is somebody who weighs heavily on your decision making or something. But to me it feels like this hurts you because you kind of thought you were past it in a way and you don't want to deal with it. But yeah, it's like someone is still scapegoating you or making you the cause of their troubles, even though they have, even though they should have learned better by now. They should know better by now, but they're kind of being blind to the overall pattern. They're being blind to what they're supposed to see, and so they are striking out at you. And I feel like this hurts you, but it also is something that it seems to me like you can shut out, you know? Yeah, it feels like it's not your home. It's not happening on your home ground. It's something that you would prefer for it not to be that way, but you can kind of close the door. And work on healing yourself. And kind of know that this relationship, or whatever this is, like even though it's kind of at this like place you may wish it was not at right now, it will be healed over time. It feels like right now it's stuck, and it feels like it's stuck because someone hasn't learned their lesson and is repeating old lessons. It's sort of striking out blindly. But yeah, it feels like feels like this can be healed, but it may take some time. And I think it's just taking this other person a few false starts to kind of get on their right path. And again, this could be you. If you feel like you're hitting the same wall, you know, or if the same stuff is coming up for you, or things just keep coming out of nowhere, and you find yourself trying to kind of blame the same person over and over again, it may be time to kind of take a look at the larger pattern. And see the light in the situation somehow. It seems like there's like, you know, like there's actually a lot more light than you're allowing. If this is someone that you're blaming, that there's a lot more light in that person than you are seeing. And maybe it's just that at certain times you feel like you don't see that, you know. There's a lot more light, and there's also a lot more lessons in the world than you have been seeing somehow. Or there's lessons in your experience that you need to attend to before you will be able to move on. It's going to keep ending up at heartbreak if you don't kind of take stock of your role in these dramas. Because it could also be that you're kind of like with a new person or like in a new situation, but then that situation is slowly revealing itself to be the same as another situation that you've been in before. So if that is happening to you this month, make this the last time. Because it seems that is just a cycle that's going to keep continuing to cause you pain, keep continuing to end in heartbreak unless you look at yourself and sort of cleanse yourself and look at the larger pattern. So Yeah, this is a month where someone, you or someone that you're coming into contact with, is being urged to look at the larger pattern. And if it's not you, it may be somebody who's sort of blaming you instead of looking at their own stuff. And if it is you, then someone may cut off contact with you until things are calmer, basically. Yeah, again, it feels like there can be growth in this stuck situation. It can be healed, but it requires sort of like lifting the rock. You know, it's like this is the Temperance card. So the Temperance card, you know, it looks different ways at different times to me, but here what I'm focusing on is this rock here. You know, it's like there's like a rebirth that's at hand, but things are stuck right here. But it's like the rock needs to be like lifted up so that you can kind of look at the worms and the roly-polies and like all the yuck that's underneath it. But it's like once you lift that rock, you don't have to do it again. You know, it's like you lift up the rock, you let it all crawl out, and then you have seen it, and you can kind of like rework that ground that has been stuck. I feel like if you have some kind of issue that's been stuck, you're being asked this month to look at that issue. And if not, then somebody close to you, they're refusing to look at that issue, may be impacting you. Yeah, you're gonna, again, the message is that you're gonna have to keep repeating it if you don't sort of drink from the cup, if you don't get the lesson over and over and over again, yeah. But there's also a lot of possibility for freedom this month from old patterns. Yeah. And you may be tested also. Interesting. So you may be tempted to respond in a way that you've responded before, either to this situation or another situation where someone kind of comes at you in an intense way. But that is also just repeating a cycle of lack and of poverty and misunderstanding and just wasting your energy, draining it away. So I feel like there is a possibility for you to really jump ahead kind of leaps and bounds in your understanding of how to communicate with someone, and maybe with multiple someones this month. Taking responsibility for your method of communication and really ingesting and digesting your lessons over the past couple of years. Again, there's been all those squares and craziness, and everybody has had stuff that's been coming up from way down deep. So it's like this is the opportunity to really take that in. Don't skate over it. Don't be like, it sucked, but it's over. You know, it's like you really have to comb through those experiences for what was of worth. And if you do that, and if you kind of drink down the cup of like understanding, then there's a lot of potential for you this month for lasting happiness and for building relationships that are strong and solid. And for building a family environment in particular that is solid and strong, building a home that it feels like you have wanted for a long time. A home without, I mean, no home is completely without conflict, but a home without consistent strife, you know? So, yeah. So I think that there's a lot of mending that can be done this month, but it requires either you or someone else to kind of look at the ugly parts, you know, and take ownership of them, because that's the way forward, basically. Okay, yeah. So it's this sort of like lessons coming up to be reinforced or to be learned, and then also this feeling of that there's something new that's beginning for you. And I think the new thing is career-wise, but it could be relationship as well. So yeah, something new that's beginning that may be a little bit embattled, but that is in fact the right place for you to be. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for May. For Vedic Leos, and please do check out the video where I talk a little bit more about Western versus Vedic signs, etc. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Get in touch if you would like a personal reading. My email address is theivyleagueastrologer@gmail.com, and my info and a bunch of other info is down below. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.